In some businesses, you may have the position where you are helping another client to evaluate their financial metrics in their business. Or perhaps you're evaluating the metrics in your own business. And when I talk about metrics, I'm talking about your gross profit margin, your efficiency ratio, your operating margin, debt to equity ratio. Some of these things you may not even understand, and some of them you will. On this page, you can create metrics and then look at your history. You can think about this in terms of if you were to export data out of QuickBooks for a year and look at your income and expenses over the year, just looking at the numbers generally isn't enough. A lot of people want to see a graph. So by using this new entry and going to actual P&L, you see it says enter values from your P&L. So you can put in what your beginning time period was. Getting a little bit ahead of myself here. So let's say we're going to January 1st to January 31st. And let's say that, we're putting in our sales here. So we'll put in 23,000 for sales, and our operating expenses were 16,000, and then our taxes were, let's say, 3,400. Save. So simply putting in one metric by itself, I think you have to put in, I think there's a little bit of a glitch here, so you have to put in 1 for those. There we go. So you can see we lost 137,000. I must have put an extra 0. Yeah, I put an extra 0 on this by accident. So then you can put in your next month here, February. And let's say in this month we had 19,000 in sales. And to make things look a little bit better, we'll put 12,000 in expenses. Save. Now you can see as I've put these two in, it's starting to graph for me over that 1 month period. So the more you add here, the more this graph is going to be. Now, I understand if you're going to try and go back to the last 2 years and import all your data, it's going to take a long time to do it this way, and we are working on an import feature, so you can import a lot of data. But for now, if you start today and work your way forward, you'll end up with a very nice graph that will show you historically how your sales are doing. Now, this is sales. This is off of your profit and loss statement. You can see there's another section where you can go to your balance sheet and enter information off your balance sheet. And it's going to require that you put an as of date. And so basically the same thing happens here. Okay, now we do have the ability to add variables, so you can put in different types of variables from your profit and loss statement or your balance sheet, and put your things in here that you want to measure, and then you can add the variables in when you go to put them in. You see I have here payables conversion, inventory turnover. So these are all different variables that I am capturing, and that comes from here. So when I go to new entry and I go to actual, I go to P&L, these here are the same thing that are going to come from when I go to add variables and I go to P&L. If I choose a variable and I put one in here, it's going to show up on that page. So if there's something that you want to track that's not there, it gives you the ability to add that. You may also notice there's a target and an industry standard, so you can actually set targets for yourself. And then when you run your calculations here, it's going to not only show you this, but it'll show you this compared to what your targets are. It's a little bit of a scaled down version of a much larger product that I know is offered that's about $100 a month, that goes very in depth into evaluating your financial data. This is a good basic start for people who are just trying to figure out what their profit margin is month over month. This graph not only shows you the sales, but you can see that each of these, so here's your profit margin. If you scroll to the bottom, here's your graph for your profit margin. So you can actually see all these different ratios and the raw data in graphical format. And that's what this metrics here is used for.